Jackson podcast.
What's popping with y'all today, man? I got a dope conversation about this viral moment from this young lady named Payton Jackson. So she is running for the U.S. House District 33 candidate. And she was speaking at a city council meeting in Fort Worth, Texas. And she had a very viral moment, man. She said, I was born black, not Democrat. So, as of recently, the Democratic Party has just disintegrated, man. I don't even see Democrats speaking out in public platforms no more. I don't see them even saying anything. Kamala Harris lost, and when she lost, a lot of people just fell to the wayside. And I would like to speak to somebody that's still representing the Democratic Party and have them on my platform and tell me how they're doing. But my perception of this, I'm not a Republican neither. I'm an independent individual because I have an independent mind frame. I can think for myself. I don't have to be a part of nothing. You know, in life, I feel like, God made me who he made me. And I don't have a feeling or a sense of needing to belong to nothing. But I see people don't want to be a part of whatever you have going on if you're not a part of what they got going on. People don't want to contribute to your success if you don't be obedient to what they have going on. When I think about street culture, gang activities and things, if you're in the streets and you ain't a part of this organization, we're not involved with you. If you're in politics and you're not a part of this party, we don't want to be involved with you. When you go to college, we can help you further along in life if you want to become part of this sorority or fraternity or this, even in the police academy, it's certain groups and structures of people that, you know, want you to become a part of their thing. People identify with black when there's no such thing as black. Also, people identify as white in these groups and these things. And I feel like, God made me perfect. He made me whole. He made me happy to be able to contribute to anything that the world has to offer. He made me where I can talk to white people. I can talk to black people. I can talk to people in different countries from Paris, Italy, Australia, Africa, whatever. It doesn't matter, man. We all human beings first. I look at the root of things first before I create the separation or the division. So, she spoke a lot about a lot of important things during this viral moment. She spoke about the 1924 Immigration Act, the 1965 Hart-Celler Act, Mistress King 1991 letter to Congress about immigration. And I have those things ready to talk about because I didn't know about those acts that she spoke about in this. And I'm going to read them to y'all because I feel like it's valuable information. But let me shut up, man, and let's get into the conversation. Let's go.
Course, a godless party because there is no such thing, and I mean no such thing as a trans child. We have confused children and sick and enabling adults.
Next speaker is Payton Jackson, who will be followed by Carolina Rodriguez.
Good afternoon, Council.
There she goes.
When I first announced my run for Congress, I had this random white woman, liberal, walk up to me and ask, well, what about you isn't Democrat? To which I responded, well, besides my skin color, what about me is Democrat? And it was at that very moment that she realized that God gave her enough common sense to ask me about my values. Now, don't get me wrong, I was raised to vote Democrat down the ballot, so when I first started, I would say things like, I'm a Republican, but I'm not a conservative. But now I know all too well I am a full-fledged, hardcore conservative, and I'm proud of it. I mean,
I'm going to stop it right there because, a lot of people are coming to the sense that they're conservative and that they're Republican. And she said at one point in time she felt as if she wasn't that or whatever. But I want to say something about that. You know, we was forced to be conservative in this country. Nobody was really liberal in the black community, but we voted as if we were liberals. We voted Democratic. And it's kind of crazy to me when you are forced to be conservative. You're forced to conserve and live a minimal life to be able to come up, to be able to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, like they say. You're forced to be conservative. So that's just an interesting take that she came to the realization that that's what she was. And I wonder how many more people have come to that realization nowadays. Because, like I said, I'm independent, but I'm a conservative person at heart. And I'm a conservative person because I was raised that way. But the first time I voted was for Obama, and down the line I just voted Democrat because I wasn't knowledgeable about what their perspectives was, what they had in mind that they was gonna do and they was gonna change. But now, as an independent person, I vote for who is gonna look out for my best interest, my family best interest, and my loved ones and the people that I care about.
My favorite saying is I was born black, not Democrat. But in all seriousness, whenever I began to think for myself politically, the choice was easy. I mean, why would I want to belong to a party whose mission is to infringe on the Second Amendment as if a criminal would ever participate in something like a mandatory buyback? Why would I want to belong to and endorse a godless party? Because there is no such thing, and I mean no such thing as a trans child. We have confused children and sick enabling adults. Why would I want to belong to a party that takes pride in shedding innocent blood? Number one, as if that's not what God hates. Number two, as if there's not a black market for baby organs. And number three, as if abortion clinics didn't start in the hood. Because if you think Trump is bad, you should research exactly who Margaret Sanger was. But speaking of the black community, why would I want to belong to a party who's responsible for the foundation of the Triple K? But it's not just that. Supposedly in the 1900s, the party switched, right? But what never changed, what I noticed never changed, is Democrats' love for immigration, how they have always prioritized that over the black community. I mean, imagine every single Democrat leader helping you joke about what a black job is in 2024, exposing your ignorance on 1924 and how imperative the Immigration Act of that year was. How it was all reversed in 1965 with the Hart-Celler Act, how Congress refuses the advice of the Rockefeller Commission and the Hesburgh Commission, and how to this day they refuse to adopt the Barbara Jordan blueprint, validating every single thing that Dr. Claude Anderson spoke of generally, but specifically what Mrs. King spoke of in 1991 with her letter to Congress. Now look, I'm not saying
She cooking, I gotta stop her because I gotta read some of the things that she was saying. She cooking. She barbecuing their ass up there, to be honest with you. And I don't even want to identify as black no more because I know better. I know where my ancestors and my people are originally from. So it's crazy to be a person that identifies as black because that means that you don't know your history to me. It's crazy that white people identify as white because that means they don't know their history to me. They don't know where their people are originally from. So my people who identify as black that I love, let me tell you what they put up against us because I'm going to identify as black right now. The Immigration Act of 1924, also known as the Johnson-Reed Act, was a restrictive law that limited immigration to the United States based on national origin and race. The act established a quota system that allowed a maximum of 153,000 immigrants per year, with that number of visas for each country based on the 1890 census. This means that immigrants from Northern and Western Europe who were considered more racially desirable received larger quotas. So in 1964, what was the significance of the Hart-Celler Act in 1965? I apologize, y'all. The law, also known as the Hart-Celler Act, transformed immigration policies in the United States, overhauled immigration policy in the United States by increasing access for new immigration groups and producing a demographic revolutionizing the U.S. population. Now, who did that hurt? Who did that hurt? And why did it hurt us? It hurt us because we wasn't even established yet. We was just coming up off of slavery. The Civil Rights Bill just passed. They was tired of us, really. They had 1965. When was the Civil Rights Bill passed? We was just coming up, man, that's why reparations is so necessary. Some sort of retribution. It doesn't even have to be finances. It has to be something because the attempt to hinder a people that didn't even want to come over here, that was forcefully brought over here, is crazy to me. So let me read this from Coretta Scott King. I want to read this, what she sent. Where she sent this to? To the Honorable Thurman Chairman Committee on the Judiciary United States Senate in Washington, D.C. So I'm going to read this to y'all, man. And I'm going to let her cook some more. I write to express my sincere opposition to the information of Jefferson B. Sessions as a federal district court for the Southern District of Alabama. My professional and personal roots in Alabama are deep and lasting. Anyone who has used the power of its office of the United States attorney to intimidate and chill the free exercise of the ballot by citizens should not be elevated to our courts. Mr. Sessions has used the awesome powers of his office in a shabby attempt to intimidate and frighten elderly black voters. For this reprehensible conduct, he should not be rewarded with a federal judgeship. I regret the long-standing commitment prevents me from appearing in person to testify against this nominee. However, I have attached a copy of my statement opposing Mr. Sessions' confirmation, and I request that my statement as well as this letter be made a part of the hearing record. I do sincerely urge you to oppose the confirmation of Mr. Sessions. Sincerely, Coretta Scott King. And she sent this to the Honorable. That's what she wrote. The Honorable Joe Biden Jr. in Washington, D.C. And basically what he was doing down there in Alabama was wanting more people in. The letter is a little bit longer, but I can't read all of that. Wanting more people in that didn't look like the people that was there. Let me let her keep cooking, man.
That the Republican Party is perfect. No, nobody's perfect. What I'm saying is, that's how Malcolm X, when he said that the liberal
Hold up, I gotta pull it back. I gotta pull it back so we can listen to her. Listen to her cook.
never change. Is Democrats love immigration, how they have always prioritized that over the black community. I mean, imagine every single Democrat leader helping you joke about what a black job is in 2024, exposing your ignorance on 1924 and how imperative the Immigration Act that year was. How it was all reversed in 1965 with the Hart-Celler Act, how Congress refuses the advice of the Rockefeller Commission and the Hesburgh Commission, and how to this day they refuse to adopt the Barbara Jordan blueprint, validating every single thing that Dr. Claude Anderson spoke of generally, but specifically what Mrs. King spoke of in 1991 with her letter to Congress. Now, look, I'm not saying that the Republican Party is perfect. No, nobody's perfect. What I'm saying is, that's how Malcolm X, when he said that the liberals were the worst thing that could ever happen to the Western Hemisphere, but y'all ignore that, just like how y'all ignore LBJ saying, and I quote, "I'm going to have Negroes voting Democrat for the next 200 years, and by God, 60 years later, I see no sign of recourse, but rest assured your vote is your voice, even if it is a whisper." Thank you, Council.
I'm going to close this thing out by saying that, as long as there's politics, there's going to be racism. As long as the laws are created against us, there's going to be a racist structure that hinders the people that look like me. I personally don't want nobody hindered. I think that African Americans, blacks, FBA, ADOS, whatever you identify as long as you're a descendant of slavery, you deserve some sort of retribution for the hindrance that the American government has caused you. And with that being said, man, we need more people that look like us, that's standing on business about us in politics. Because without a political presence, the laws that's created are going to be forever against you. Thank you for tuning in to my show, man. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the new subscribers. Hit the like button to help me trigger the algorithm, man. I'm gone. Make sure that you hit that notification bell also so you can know when the new content is released, because we're standing on business this summer, man. I highly appreciate y'all, man. Peace, love, plenty, abundance. Make sure you go get you some money, and I'm gone.
The Payton Jackson Podcast.